guys! So as we reach the end of 2017 and begin to approach a new year, I think a lot of people, myself included, are starting to look forward and are trying to gauge what they want out of the new year. For some people, this may be something like being more creative or artistic, and for me, it's wanting to be more helpful when it comes to things like this YouTube channel. And that is where this new series of videos really comes into play. I am hoping to combine those two sorts of goals into a class, I suppose you could call it, that will help you to think more creatively, to get less stuck up on what should I draw or what should I do to be creative, and will help you be less perfectionistic with your artwork as well. The structure of this class will be a series of videos, each containing a different exercise to complete. The first exercise will be contained within this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. These videos will build on each other. So exercise 1 will come into play much later, or exercise 5 may be reliant on exercise 2. So I would recommend starting from the beginning of the series and working through it, as opposed to starting with the most recent video. However, feel free to do whatever works for you, and if a certain video is reliant on a previous one, I will make sure to list it so you can get caught up with only the ones that you need to. Now, a big thing I really want to focus on with this specific course is interaction and helping each other grow. And because of this, I have actually started a Facebook group that you can join, and I will leave a link to that in the description. You may also use the hashtag StepsCreative on Instagram if you prefer sharing on that platform, though I do think the Facebook group will probably be a little bit more interactive and will be a better way to create a community, which is something I really want to do with this series of videos. Another thing I want to mention is that this class is for any skill level. It doesn't matter if you've never drawn a thing in your life or if you've been drawing for years. This is less about skill level and more about idea generation and finding ways to engage with your creativity. And that is something that artists of any skill level can learn, and I'm hoping to help people learn. It's going to be less of a how-to and more of a encouraging you to find what works best for your brain and your person. So now that we've sort of run over the basics of this video series, I'm going to jump right into exercise 1. And you've actually been seeing me work on this exercise as I've been talking, if you haven't figured that out by now. And essentially it's to just start looking for paper products or collage pieces that you really, really like. If you already have art supplies, this may be a little bit easier, and I've sorted through most of the things I have access to, and this includes a lot of papers and photocopies of artwork that I have already done. However, if you don't have anything like that, that's fine. Just copy paper is fine, notebook paper is fine, graph paper, newspapers, magazines, anything that is a paper substance is fine. Also, for things that are a bit smaller, I have lots of little bits and pieces that are scraps from projects I've done in the past. But again, if you don't have that and you're brand new, things like clothing tags are a lot of times very interesting. Things that maybe come in your junk mail, maybe. Playing cards, I've incorporated those into a lot of work. Just anything you can find that you really like the look of. Or, as I mentioned, if there's nothing you have that is a visual thing, just copy paper will work fine, because we will be working on copy paper in future lessons. If you have a lot of experience, you may have a lot more supplies. And that can be beneficial, but it can also be a little bit overwhelming at times. And that is something we will definitely go over in future exercises. But if you are a new artist, don't feel like you need to go out and buy a lot of things. Regular school pencils, ballpoint pens, highlighters, kids' markers, crayons, anything that you already have in your house will be fine. You don't have to go out and buy fancy things for this. If you want to, that's fine. If you see me using something that you're interested in, that's fine. But if you can't afford it or aren't particularly interested in buying things, don't worry about it. I will be doing my best to give examples of what you can do if you're on a budget, because I myself was on a very tight art budget for years and years and years since I've been doing this since I was a kid. So I had to learn to make do with what I had. Now, as far as this exercise specifically was concerned, I spent about 50 minutes to an hour doing this. I didn't even go through half of what I have, and I still have a very large stack of things. If you have a lot of product, don't feel like you need to look through every single thing that you have. Just get yourself a decent sized stack, specifically of things that you like more than anything else you have. Or if you have no supplies at all, just a ream of copy paper. And this exercise will take you a much shorter period of time than someone like me who's been working with paper and collage elements for 8 years. So as I mentioned before, I want this to be as collaborative of a experience as possible. So once you've completed this exercise, I would really love it if you would go over to the Facebook group and show us what you have. Take a picture of some of the supplies you've pulled together and let us see what you have ready for future exercises. So thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.